6 made more sense than drafting a quarterback at 3. They're not going up there to get an O-lineman or a corner. There's no corner worth trading that high for. Patrick Surtain and Caleb Farley, they're both gonna go around the 10 spot. I think they're gonna go to the Giants and Cowboys, one of those two. But they're not moving up there to get a backup quarterback. They're also not going up there to get an O-lineman they might get an O-lineman. They might get, sorry about that. They might get, they might go for Penei Sewell or Rashawn Slater or something, but I feel like it would just make sense for them to go after a quarterback from here now, right? And I think they go with Justin Fields. I've heard a lot of teams like Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance is sneaky. I think he's a sneaky pick here. Like, we don't know. He can either fall to 15 or be picked at 3. That's what I feel like Trey Lance. There's no one between there. Either 15 or 3. But I think right now they're going to pick Fields. At 3. And the Seahawks are an interesting team for the NFL draft. John Snyder drafted Aaron Rodgers when they still had Brett Favre, so don't forget about that. And Wilson just said he wanted out. So who's to say he might want to, I don't know. And Seattle, what is making me buy into this crazy theory even more is that Seattle, because I don't actually believe this. I'm just kind of bringing up a thought I've had. But the only reason I have this thought is because Seattle hasn't come out and said, there's no way we're trading a franchise quarterback, the best Seattle player ever. The heart and soul of our franchise. Outside of Steve Largent, probably the only relevant player. And Marshawn Lynch. A peak Marshawn Lynch. Because, think about this. When there were rumbles about Porzingis being traded, Mark Cuban came out. He said there's no way we're trading him. And what happened? He didn't get traded. I'm just confused as to why they aren't mentioning, there's no way Wilson's getting traded. Honestly, I think they traded their pick to the Jets. I don't even know who would they get at best, because they're not going to get Trey Lance or Wilson or Fields. Sure as hell ain't getting Lawrence. So what would they get? Mac Jones? And Mac Jones, I still don't think he's going to be good in the NFL, especially with the Seahawks, because DK Metcalf's good. Yes, he is. I know. But the Seahawks O-line is hell to be with. Russell Wilson has been sacked almost 400 times in 9 years, NFL record. Alabama's offensive line does not allow you to get hit. You have an incredible amount of time to throw the ball. They also don't have Najee Harris there. They do have a good receiver, but they don't have two good receivers. He had Waddle and Smith. They have Metcalf, and never mind. But the point is, you might have Metcalf, but you're going to it doesn't matter if you have Metcalf if your O-line is not going to protect you. So if he were to go to Seattle, forget about it. I still don't think he's that good of an athlete. I think it's going to be a rude awakening. He's not going to have that O-line. He's not going to have Nick Saban. Even if he doesn't go to Seattle, which he probably won't, he's not going to have Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. He's not going to have Najee Harris, not Nick Saban, not that O-line. And they won't be that open. That's why I'm not that concerned with Devontae Smith weighing only 170 pounds, because he's such a good route runner. And I mean, I want Mac Jones to succeed, but I just sense disaster with him. You know? And I can completely whiff on this. I just sense disaster with him. Alright. Soon I'm gonna tell you my favorite, my lock of the week for Sweet 16. The only reason I picked this is because it's not gonna be boring. I'm not gonna go with one of the 1 seeds, so you're gonna like it, I think. And I think I have a strong case for it, too. Alright, so despite LeBron and AD's injuries, apparently a lot of people still expect the Lakers to be the clear favorites to win the West in the end. Maybe not the 1 seed, but they're going to win the West in the end. Like, they're going to represent them in the finals. And I mean, that makes sense, because they're really the only contending team in the West that we know for sure will be good in the playoffs. Like the Clippers, they had that whole playoff P thing. They choked a 3-1 lead to the Nuggets. I mean, we don't know if they're good in the playoffs at all. The Suns proved themselves in the bubble last year, and they proved themselves in the regular season so far, but we don't know if they're going to be in the playoffs. The Jazz have done phenomenal so far, but what are they going to do in the playoffs? So we'll see what happens. I still think the Lakers are going to eventually win it in the end. Alright, so my lock of the week for Sweet 16. It's not Michigan, it's not Gonzaga, and it's not Baylor. My lock of the week is the team that took out Illinois. It's Loyola. I have Loyola over Oregon State as a lock. Now, I'm not going to criticize the people who pick Gonzaga over Creighton or Baylor over Villanova, you know? It's fair. It's a fair point. But I thought Loyola at the beginning of this was the most underrated team. I still didn't think they were going to beat Illinois. I thought about picking them over them, but I didn't think they would. I thought it would be a close game. That's what I thought. I thought it would be like coming down to the final minutes. But that was a shock for me. I was like, wow, they really handled that pretty. But I mean, look at the general stats. They're 25-4. They're 9-1 in the last 10. Look at Baylor, 24-2, 8-2 in the last 10. So Loyola is as good as any team right now, like any 1 seed right now. And I just don't see Oregon State winning this. But again, I say this all the time. I could easily be wrong because I didn't think Oregon State would beat Oklahoma State either. But my lock of the week, Loyola over Oregon State. Alright. 2 more topics, and then I'm going to move on to my updated mock draft. Remember, I'm just doing the first half of the first round. So the first 16 picks, that's what I'm going to show. Alright, so the Jazz and the Sixers are at top of their respective conferences. And, I mean, there's a lot of question marks right now. That's what's great about this NBA season right now. A lot of question marks. We don't know for sure. I don't know how close the Lakers are to getting Bron or AD back. But the great thing is, no one has jumped out to a commanding lead in the conferences. Like, no one is like, way ahead. You know? Like, for a couple of years, it was just, the Warriors are way ahead, you know, the Cavs are way ahead. It was boring, you know? But now it's just, you know, we don't know. I mean, the Jazz have stayed the 1 seed for a while, but they're not that far ahead. Because the 2 seed in the NBA is, a 2 seed in the West is the Suns, only 3 games back. So, and I mean, even the 4 seed, the Lakers, are only 5 games back. the 4 seed in the East is 9 games back. So, I mean, there's not much control right now. So, anything can change right now. Alright. So, the Bucks re-signed Leonard Fournette. Now, I've been asked, who do you think is having the best offseason so far? I say the Bucks. They've gone back everyone. Except for AB, which is fine. Because honestly, they have too good a receiving core. And I said before this, I think AB and Gronk take any amount of money. They don't really care. They'll take anything. And then you absolutely have to pay Levante David, Shaq Barrett, and Ndamukong Suh. Keep that defensive front together. And then you can let Godwin or Fournette walk. Because you'll still have Ronald Jones, and if you re-sign Fournette, you have both. And if you let Godwin walk, you still have a dominant receiving core. But now, I mean, they've gotten everyone. They franchise tagged Godwin. They re-signed David. They re-signed Barrett. They re-signed Sue. They re-signed Fournette. Re-signed Gronk. Re-signed... Okay, that's it. But AB's next, and I don't know if they have the money to get him back, but if he doesn't come back, I don't even know if that would change my mind at all about them being the best, about them having the best free agency. Alright, 27-minute podcast, okay. I'm not done yet. I still have my mock draft here. So it's going to be about a half-hour podcast. I'll take that all day. Alright, let's get some music going for this mock draft. And I mean, this is why I had the Bucks repeating, next year. Right now, I mean, they didn't lose any of their key players. It's amazing. I gotta release my new predictions soon. Because my mind might change here. Alright, so... let's go with the mock draft. So first overall pick, I have the Jaguars picking Trevor Lawrence. Move on, that's obvious. Pick number 2, I'm gonna say the Jets go with Zach Wilson. I think they go with Zach Wilson. It's a tough call. I'm really stumped on this whole are they keeping Darnold thing. I'm just going to assume they're going to move off of him and trade him somewhere else. I'm going to say Zach Wilson. Pick number 3, the Niners pick Justin Fields. They're going to do this and or pick Rashawn Slater. It's a tough call. I just don't think you move up this high to just draft an O-lineman. Pick number 4, I think the Falcons take Micah Parsons. I don't think Matt Ryan's the problem. I don't think they have to pick a quarterback. I think they definitely have to go with an O-lineman or a defensive player. Because their offense last year, 4th in passing yards. They are fine on offense. It's all about the defense and the O-line. So start off with Micah Parsons. I think that's perfect. Bengals, I really, really wanted them to pick Kyle Pitts. But I figure, if you get Joe Burrow protection... because like I said, if you don't get Mac Jones protection, DK Metcalf isn't going to mean anything. So if you don't get Joe Burrow protection, drafting Kyle Pitts is going to do nothing. So get him Rashawn Slater. The Dolphins at pick 6 are going to take Penei Sewell. They got Will Fuller. They got their second receiver. They're not going to need another one in the draft. So they're definitely going to take Penei Sewell there. Lions at pick 7. They're going to take Jamar Chase. They just lost Kenny Golladay. They're looking for a replacement. Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith is the